Hello everyone, this is Michaela with the Sewing Inventory Workbook video tutorial. I'm just going to show you how I use my inventory workbook to keep track of my supplies. I decided to make this because I wasn't able to find anything and I wanted to be able to keep track of costs and inventory, how much I have on hand, as well as be able to calculate the cost of each project quickly, and so I've put this together. So you'll see down here at the bottom we've got a few tabs for each of the worksheets. The first one is the instruction tab. Just go through that. It'll explain to you how to enter items in and how the project template works. Let's just jump right in here. At the bottom you'll see the tabs for fabric, vinyl, interfacing, hardware, zippers, notions, a project template, as well as a pattern one to help you keep track of your patterns as well. So the fabric, vinyl, interfacing, hardware, zipper, and notion templates all work the same. They are just categorized so that it's easier to put in your supplies. Some just general items. The little lock symbol at the bottom means that the sheet or there's a column in each sheet that is protected. It's so that the formula doesn't get changed or accidentally deleted. If you choose to unlock it, that's fine. There's no password needed, so if you know how to do that, you can go ahead and unlock it and you won't need a password. So that's just generally for all of those worksheets that you see. So this is the column H, and each of them that is automatically calculated. So you don't have to figure out that amount. It's automatically calculated when you put in how much you bought, how much it cost, how much shipping was, and tax. And you'll notice if, like on this first one, for example, there's no tax, so that's not a problem. You don't have to put anything in that particular cell. So on this one for fabric, for example, at the top of each one as well, there's these headings, and it doesn't matter when you scroll, it will just stay at the top so that you know which column you're entering your information into. So let's scroll down here, and let's say I'm going to give an example of entering in a fabric. Let's say I just bought a new fabric. It's blue and pink floral, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my color description cell is highlighted here or selected. You can type in, if you want to type in a description, or if you want to add a picture, you can do that as well. So what you do is select the cell, you go to insert, you go to photo, you're going to enter your picture from your photo, and then I'm going to go ahead and find my picture here. It's in my patterns file and it's under my fabric costs, and so I'm just going to pick a picture here. It's that pink and blue floral. I'm going to insert that picture. You'll notice that the picture will apply, it is bigger than the cell, so you're just going to right click. You're going to format the picture, and then I just go to size, and I'm going to just change the size to 0.93, and that will make it smaller, and you can kind of stretch it out to be kind of the size and move it around if you'd like to kind of fit in your cell a little bit better. But that's how I enter in the pictures. It's a tiny picture, but it still gives me an idea if I forget down the road what it looks like, or if I'm looking at a particular fabric and want to find the price. Let's say I just bought 2 yards, so I have on hand 2 yards. Quantity purchased is 2 yards. Let's say that it was $5 a yard, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And in the notes section, you can write anything where you purchased it, if you got it online, or you can see up here I've put in the store that I purchased it in case I want to go back and get more. Now, one thing as well for the on-hand column, this is for you to decide if you want to keep a running tally. The way to do this is to put in equals. I have 2 yards, but let's say I go and use 1 yard, so then I'm going to subtract 1 yard, and then it'll change it to 1. So as you go along, you'll have to go in and enter in each time when you use it, but that will just help you keep a running total. And then the quantity purchased is so you know how much you started with and the price for it. So that is our fabric worksheet there. Let's move on to vinyl. Works the same. I've entered in some of my vinyl that I have, and you can see each one. So if you'd like to adjust the size of the cells as well, you can do that by highlighting that, and you can change the row height. You'll notice these ones are a little bit smaller than the other ones, so we'll make them 0.5, and that's how they get them that size. But Same thing, it'll calculate your total cost with shipping, and my interfacing, same thing, I put in what interfacing I have, hardware. Now, one thing for hardware zippers, you can do this for any of the cells, any of the categories. I've divided my zippers out by size. So I put in 9 inches, and then under that I enter in all my 9-inch zippers. And then I put in 10 inches and I enter in my 10-inch zippers. And I'm going to show you where that can be helpful later in your project template. So we'll go to the project template. Right here is the template. So what you'll want to do is right click on it and click on move or copy, and you're going to scroll to the bottom and you're going to say move to end, create a copy, OK, and now it's got project template 2. Now I like to rename mine as the bags or whatever I'm making, so I'm going to rename it and we're just going to say tote bag for now. And so that will rename it, and you'll still have a blank template to copy each time that you do your project. And so so I've clicked on the tote bag one, and so I've got this blank one to start with. So I'm going to just put up here tote bag, and you can put any other information that you'd like to have on there. And now when you go to your fabric, once you've made your list in your fabric worksheet, you're going to click the arrows and it's going to list all the fabric that you listed in your fabric worksheet. So let's go to that blue and pink floral that I put in. Now I'm using a Mac and my list looks like this. If you're using a different version of Excel or a different kind of computer, your arrows might look a little different. You may have to scroll up to see your list, but it's there, and you'll just have to kind of play with that and see how your computer works with that. But I'm going to pick this blue and pink floral. You'll see that it automatically populates how much per yard it costs, so you don't have to go back and find that information again. It's automatically there for you. All you have to do is put in what fabric you used and how many yards. Let's say I used 1 yard of that. I'm going to tab over, and you can see it automatically calculated the cost for me. If there's any additional notes you want to put in about that, you can here. And I've just always put a notes column for myself because I'm always, thinking something and wanting to remember it. So let's say I use that blue and pink floral for the exterior, and the interior I just used the bluebirds, and that's $6 a yard, and I used 1¼ yards. So I'm going to type in 1.25. So it calculated that my cost on that is going to be $7.50. So you'll see at the bottom of this, it calculated the total of the cost of the fabric. And if I added in vinyl, it would calculate that in as well. So then let's say I use my interfacing, and I used some 101, and I used 3 yards. So that automatically calculated the total for me there as well. So let me give an example of the zippers. So remember I said that I put in the 9-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch headings. Well, when you have this drop down, you're going to still have those headings so you know which zipper you're clicking on. So anytime you add any sort of heading like that, it will show up in this drop down menu, which is really nice because then I can say, oh, I used my 10-inch zipper and I used one, and it's going to calculate the cost. So I've left my notions worksheet blank here, but I just want to go in and show you we have all kinds of different notions. Everyone likes to use different things, but let's say I'm going to make a heading and I bought pre-made piping. So I'm going to put in a piping heading and I'm going to make it bold so that it pops out on this worksheet for me. I'm going to change the size. And let's say I have some silver and I bought one, and I have one and it was $2 to buy it, and that's that. And then let's say you want to keep track of your zipper pulls. You can add this in your zipper worksheet, or you can add it here. Same thing. I'm going to make it bold, make it bigger, make it more like a heading, and I'm going to say I have a heart charm, and I bought 10 and they were 50 cents each. So that's an idea of how to enter in your Notion so you don't have a bunch of worksheets. You can have just these different headings, and so then when you go in to do it, you can add to it. You know, let's say I get some purple piping and I bought one and it was $2. So I've gone through and added these notions in. Same as with the zippers. I'm going to go back to my project template, and let's say I used a package of piping, the silver. So there's my, it isn't bold on the drop down, but the heading is still there. So I see I have piping, so under that I know that's my silver piping. I used one package. It's going to calculate the cost. The next thing I used was my heart charm on my zipper pull, and that was 50 cents. I used one, and there it shows up 50 cents. It's going to calculate that total cost. So same thing with my zipper here. I'm going to add my 10-inch zipper. I'm going to put in that I used one. So you can see how this worksheet is really, oh, you know, I added that on the project template. I should do that on my tote bag here. So I did my silver piping, and then I did my heart charm. So you can see it's keeping a running total in each of my categories, but over here on the side, on the right hand side, it also is going to total everything from each of the categories. So let's say that's my bag, I made it, it cost me $26.02 in materials. Now over here in the notes section you can put anything, but today as I was doing one of these for one of the bags, I thought, okay, I'm going to keep track. It took me 3 hours at $10 an hour, so that's $30, and then cost of materials is $26.02. So total to make it would be $56.02. So that will just keep me, you know, so that I know how much it costs. And then, you know, if you sell the bag, you can say sold to or whatever, or sold for $100, however much you sold the bag for. And so that kind of is helpful too. You can, you know, add the date at the top here if you want to put in when you made the bag, or any other information that you want to keep there. So that's an idea of that as well. So then the next tab is the patterns tab, and I've been downloading a lot of patterns, PDF patterns online, and I need to keep track of what I have and where I got them. So this is a good place to put in the pattern name, the designer, the website you got it from, and sometimes you have to have a user ID and a password. Sometimes there's a discount code available, and again, just a notes section there. So that is the whole spreadsheet. I hope that everything makes sense and that you'll find it as useful of a tool as I did. And just let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.